Would you point?
That's Fairfax County has completed a study on that. It's a project that's viewed as a future project. The vision is Richmond Highway is going to be 3 lanes, not only all the way through Fairfax County, but also in Prince William County. In Prince William County right now, leading up to Route 123, there's a widening project that's already underway, about 50% complete. So the ultimate vision between both counties is 3 lanes in each direction. And I would say that probably more than what's forecast right now, either what has been spent and what is already programmed to be spent, is probably approaching $2 billion. So the improvements are planned for the entire corridor.
You still have a major water problem in Fort Belvoir running down the road to Roy Rogers. Will that ever be taken care of? When it snows, it ices. When it rains, it floods. When it snows, it ices up. There's still that water problem. That hasn't been addressed. You still have a major issue there.
I appreciate your comment, and I'll let our maintenance forces know. I would also ask you to write that down for us, okay? I think right now it's still being maintained by the contractor that built it. Eventually, it'll be turned back over to VDOT.
One more question. When you're talking about these bridges, are you talking about going up?
No. They won't be hump bridges. They will be at a single grade.
And one more thing, my comment. I think the underpasses are foolish. I don't think you should go.
My name is George Kiriaka. We're property owners. Our family has been property owners on Richmond Highway for close to 60 years. In specific, the intersection of Russell Road and Richmond Highway across from the old Mount Vernon High School. I just want to make sure VDOT is taking into consideration to maintain properties to be able to be used for future development by developers. Consideration of a retention pond on one of our parcels would reduce our property size down where it would not be feasible for a developer to come in and develop it, and that would take away a tax revenue stream to Fairfax County. So I think that really needs to be considered, and that's my comment I wanted to make. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. As you know, I know you've been coordinating with the project team, and the design that you see tonight is still a preliminary design, and we are still working on ways to make it better and to eliminate undesirable impacts on properties.
My name is Paul Hertel. I'm looking at your project description here, and it says these improvements focus on improving safety, decreasing congestion, increasing capacity, and this raises some issues and concerns, which is because just expediting through traffic is contradiction to what Embark is envisioning. And furthermore, the study kind of ends right at the end of Alexandria and Belvoir, and you're moving all this traffic to where? BRT is fine and dandy, but it goes to Yellow Line, and studies from 15 years ago said that Yellow Line and Blue Line were already reaching saturation points. So I think I would urge that you further the study, do the analysis to see what happens when all this traffic that is expected that you are putting forward in here, what happens to it when it runs into Alexandria? Because they're not expanding. As a matter of fact, they're going the opposite way. They're going to start introducing HOV 3 and do it for a prolonged period of time. So, and Washington Street is already at saturation point, can't take anymore, and Route 1 is the only other alternative. So, I see a contradiction in terms of what we're doing here, and I would urge that it encompass the effect of the wall at Alexandria and Belvoir, and also that Embark be not removed from the process by just expediting through traffic. Thank you.
So thank you for your comment. And I will just add, I was in a meeting last week where that very topic was brought up with the members of our Commonwealth Transportation Board and the City of Alexandria. So it's a potential issue to have that type of coordination occurring.
Hello, my name is Bernadette Duzon Pickett. I have a question about I noticed that in your presentation, you gave a list of advantages and disadvantages to the underpass. Would you consider, I have two questions. Would you consider redoing the questionnaire? Because there's a lot of people that were not able to make it out here tonight that are going to be looking at this questionnaire in the mail. Would you consider redoing the questionnaire to include that list of advantages and disadvantages so that they can make an intelligent decision?
Excuse me, I'm sorry for interrupting now. We do have the link to the presentation, I think is also right there. We put on the online comment form. So if someone's online, they should be able to click on the link there and go right to the presentation and see it. But I can also talk to our communications people and see if they think that can be accommodated.
Okay, I have another question. Because of the disadvantages, listing the possibility of flooding to the underpasses, are you in the process of creating a mitigation plan to alleviate that flooding?
The mitigation plan, what we do is we will select a design storm, which I believe is what we call a 5-year storm, or one that has a 20% chance of occurring. And we'll make sure that the water, that the underpasses are located so that they will be above the anticipated water level. But there's no way that we can provide 100% protection to overtopping. We can't provide 100% overtopping onto Richmond Highway, and we don't do it for interstates either, because it's too expensive to do. So what would happen with a high water event, first of all, I don't anticipate many pedestrians and bicyclists to be out in a high water event. You know, our experience is water's receding, just like with major snowstorms, snows, the snow melts. And so there would be a period potentially where the underpass would be impassable.
That statement alone should go on the questionnaire. There will be periods where the underpasses will be impassable. That's a very important point to consider when you're answering these questions on the questionnaire.
I thank you for your comment.
Steve Patterson here, and I think my question was answered already, but it had to do with how this would integrate in with Route 1 at the northern end of this project. And you're increasing the road width by 3 times almost, adding the bus lanes. And what's going to happen north of where is it? Sherwood Hall.
Okay, well, the bus lanes will go to Huntington Metro Station, and that's where they will be terminating. So beyond, I guess, Kings Highway, beyond Kings Highway, it'll basically be the footprint that exists today. But I think that is 3 lanes, at least in each direction. And any bus traffic that be general purpose will just go back into the general purpose lanes.
Follow-up question is there a time frame for working on the project north of this project?
Vanessa, do you want to?
Thank you. Hello, I'm with the Department of Transportation for the county, Vanessa. So VRT is here. We're located in the back, but just to give you an idea, we're phase 1, which is from Huntington to Hilo Valley. We're looking to open it by 2026, and phase 2 from Hilo Valley to Fort Belvoir by 2028. And I do have newsletters, and you can find me after the meeting, and we can go over any VRT specifics.
Hi, I'm Don Altillery. I just had 2 quick questions. The first one, especially with all of this work moving moving utilities, will the power lines be moved underground? Is that even thought about? Is it expensive?
Current plans have been that the utilities would be aerial relocation. However, there are other considerations.
So the conversation about undergrounding is one that we're continuing to engage in to figure out if there is a way to do undergrounding in a reasonably economical way that it can be funded. Senator Sherwood did succeed in passing legislation this year in the General Assembly that would provide a mechanism to pay for undergrounding by putting a fee on utility bills here in Fairfax County. So we're looking at that legislation right now to see whether or not it's something that could be used to implement undergrounding. But We don't have an answer for you today, but it is an ongoing discussion about whether or not that can be accomplished.
And the second question relates to just, especially with all the right-of-way process, where there's going to be buying buildings, there's going to be abandoned things, just thinking about what happened south of here in Woodbridge, is there going to be the appropriate signage from VDOT kind of explaining what's going on so people kind of passing through don't think it's just a dilapidated area?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Kelly Ebron. I'm actually a candidate for Lee District, and I'm asking a question for someone who can't be here tonight. Martha Harris asked me to ask this question. Are you planning to put a median at the corner of School Street and North King Highway, which is by the Presbyterian Church?
May I defer that one because I think it's outside our project limits.
So we've worked with the community on several different alignments or realignments there at School Street and at North Kings Highway. The current alignment retains full access at School Street. The current plans that we're looking at, and there would not be a median that would block School Street.
Paul Siegel. I want to make sure that the possibility of facilitating a trash trap at the crossing of Little Honey Creek stays in lieu. Several other cyclings of this, that idea has surfaced and then kind of disappeared. I hope it won't disappear this time.
So what we're actually looking at right now in conjunction with Fairfax County is to have, what's the word, the vortex, the trash separator at the stormwater management facilities. That's where all the water collected from the roadway will go. And so the vortex would separate the trash, and that's where it would be cleaned up. So the idea would be the trash that would be coming from the roadway, what's getting into the creek.
You're not accepting responsibility for trash that's coming down the street.
I'm talking about from Richmond Highway.
I'm sorry. Just for Richmond Highway.
Yes,
so
sir.
The fact that the stream is continuous isn't in your sight.
No, sir, right now it is not.
Steve Dittmeyer. I see on the slide that construction is to begin in 2023, open to traffic in 2026. I heard a few minutes ago from the woman from Fairfax County DOT that the bus lanes construction is not simultaneous, but starts later and ends later. Please explain how you are coordinating this. Are the bridges for the busway being built at the same time as the bridges for the roadway? How are you coordinating?
Currently, the Fairfax County is busy designing the bus rapid transit facility. They're doing it in total from the end of our project at Sherwood Lane up through Huntington. South of that, which is where our widening project is underway, we are busy coordinating all the design features with Fairfax County's design team. I know Vanessa knows me, and we know our teams know each other on a first-name basis. We have frequent meetings, at least on a monthly basis, and often more frequently. With regard to the bridges and what you asked, we're looking at building the substructures with the roadway project, and so that anything that's built with the bus rapid transit project in the city of Richmond Highway widening would be the superstructures.
How close physically are the VDOT team and the Fairfax County teams located, and how are they communicating?
VDOT and Fairfax County's offices are located about a mile apart. Okay, right near the Transportation Operations Center at Route 29 and West Ox Road. Our consultants are all located throughout the North Virginia region. But again, through normal coordination through meetings, emails, electronic transfers, I think that right now there's a very good degree of coordination between both design teams.
My name is Yolanda Thompson again, and I'm understanding that South County's government building will be really affected during construction time, where there'll be loss of public parking spaces and access to the building at various ways. Can you explain that, and then explain how, when South County is one of the very rare opportunities for people to come and get public access to many services, how this construction is not going to limit people from accessing public services that if it's not in South County, we could travel hours to try to access. So first explain the construction and how that's going to affect South County, because my understanding is it's going through the building because of that cutoff at Mohawk, which is where South County is.
Yes, ma'am. It's going through part of the parking lot for sure. Okay, I'm not going to say there's going to be no impact to the amount of parking that's available in South County. There is going to be an impact. How that's going to be mitigated yet has not been decided within the design of this project. I can assure you that during the construction period, people will have access to the South County Government Center. Okay, so we will maintain full access to it, but I would say again, the details of what the major traffic plan is going to be, those details have not been developed yet. Okay, but we acknowledge the need, and it's something that we work on in the upcoming design details.
And the reason why I ask that is because you're also cutting off Buckman, so there's a lot of cutoff and people trying to access that, and construction trucks and construction vehicles, and that would be a lot going
yes,
on.
It's going to be a interesting job to sequence, but that's what we're going to have to do. Folks, we'll take one more question, okay, and then two more. Okay, the last two are in line. These will be our last two questions, and then we'll end our Q&A period.
My name is Mary Poirier. I live on the Richmond Highway, across the street from the post office. And just personal feeling, when I got the postcard about this meeting, I was really observing what the construction is doing and what is really benefit for us and for the community living on the Richmond Highway. And I just thought to myself, wow, if they have, I don't know what kind of budget, but I'm looking at it, and then I see the picture that you're planning to perform through the constructions. But compared to the picture, what they're doing, what you're doing now, that's the feeling I had. It's like they're doing little by little portion by portion. It doesn't connect to all the way from Jeff Todd Way to here, because I like to walk once in a while. And then from McDonald to the Jeff Todd Way, there's no connection, and I'm still walking through the area, and then there's no walking area, the breaks, and then you have to cross the street and then go there. So if you can make the street like this, so people can walk, and it would be wonderful. But actually, you're not doing like a little area by area. So what's the difference?
Ma'am, whatever construction that's ongoing right now on Route 1 is unrelated to our project. I think there might be one or two intersection improvement projects that are really just going to be interim improvements, and they will eventually be superseded by this construction project. So I acknowledge and agree that there are gaps in there, and it's difficult for pedestrians and bicyclists to walk or bike along Route 1 right now, Richmond Highway. But that's one of the main features of the project whenever it's completed.
So you will solve the problem in the future?
Yes, ma'am. We believe we are solving the problem with this project.
Also because the pamphlet is great information. If somebody look at the high level, sitting, looking at this information from the office without coming around this neighbor, wow, you guys doing a great job. We'll give you a whole lot of money. And then when you really live in that area, I don't see this picture.
Yes, ma'am, but the intent is in 7 years you will. Okay, folks, we have time for one more question. Okay.
Thank you for taking my question. My name is Kathy Ledeck. I have 2 questions and 1 recommendation. With regard to pedestrian safety all along the corridor, especially in the area of the project, is quite challenging, especially at the northern end of it, right where the Costco Sherwood Hall Lane intersection is. I've seen people out in the middle of traffic trying to cross in front of the Walmart. There's no safe crossing there, so please, at all of the crossings, make sure you consider pedestrian safety as a high priority. The street crossings offer us an enormous opportunity to improve environmental conditions. I would ask that the project team work very carefully to ensure the protection of threatened and endangered species that are present in our area. Many people think we don't have wildlife here. We have a great wealth of wildlife, and they really need to be protected. And then the last thing is a recommendation. With respect to the Doe Creek crossing, there's an enormous opportunity there to provide a scenic overlook, just a little rest area for pedestrians and cyclists to stop to view the natural area there, which is a threatened and endangered species waterway. I would ask you to consider on both sides of the highway creating just a little bit of a rest area with a little bench perhaps where cyclists and pedestrians could stop and view the natural area there. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Okay, everybody, we're at the end of our time for Q&A. I want to thank you all for coming this evening, for sitting patiently through the presentation and Q&A period. We still have about 25 minutes to go for our meeting tonight. I urge you to go back to the cafeteria and view displays again and ask any questions.